Welcome to the Sample Chapter Podcast, the show where authors read a sample chapter from one of their books. Here's your host, Jason A. Meiske.
Hello, Sample Chapter listeners. This is episode 260 of the Sample Chapter Podcast. And like the fine lady out front said, yes, I am your host, Jason A. Meiske. Hey, welcome back, everyone. And this week we have a really great show for you. An author that I just recently heard about, and I can't wait to share this interview with you. It's so much fun. We're talking with Yimje Lee. His debut novel, One Star Hero, came out not too long ago, and it's such a fascinating and fun heroics journey that you're going to hear all about. We are discussing what inspired this story, things like anime, video games, Hong Kong cinema. We talk about all that. Talking about his lifelong fascination for fantasy and how he prepared to write this story. All that and so much more coming up here in just moments. So you definitely want to hang around for that interview. And then, of course, next week, Yimje returns for episode 261, where you're going to hear a sample chapter of One Star Hero. And I tell you, you don't want to miss it. It's a lot of fun. As always, make sure you are following the show on social media, Facebook, X, Twitter, and Instagram. If you want to reach out to the show, you can do so via email at samplechapterpodcast@gmail.com. And if you have an author recommendation, make sure you do that too. I always like to say that, reviews are great for the show, but more than that, I ask that you make sure and leave reviews for books that you are discovering because of the show. And you know what? In your review, if you want to mention that you heard about it because of the show, well, I thank you kindly. Hey, I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time. I don't have a whole lot of news this week, so I guess we'll just go ahead and hop on over to that interview with Yimje Lee. Hello, Sample Chapter listeners. Hey, welcome back. I have a really dynamic interview for you today, and somebody that I cannot wait to dive into his story and the story that he wrote. This is an amazing book that I cannot wait to get into, and you're in for a treat today. Drawing from a childhood filled with dreams of superpowers and a love for martial arts icons like Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee, Yimje Lee channels his creativity and passion into storytelling. His narrative is fueled by a lifelong fascination with fantasy worlds, creating a novel that resonates with both young adults and seasoned fantasy enthusiasts. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the show, Yimje Lee. Hey, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, how's it going, Jason? Thanks for having me today.
Hey, it's my pleasure, man. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm going to be honest. I was blown away when I got the email from Ashley telling me about One Star Hero, the story behind it, and everything. This sounds like an awesome book, man.
Oh, thanks, man. That sounds real great. I'm excited to be here.
And that's got to be a good feeling to have your debut novel is creating that kind of excitement. I don't know what kind of feedback you're getting from other people, but certainly here on this show, and then all my listeners are going to be hearing about this too. I mean, that's got to feel good to hear.
Oh yeah, it definitely does. Yeah, I've had a few people that really love the book that I've written. It feels great to get feedback. I love getting how they react to some of the things that happen in the book. It feels really great.
That's awesome. So now, is writing something you've always been interested in? Is it something you've always pursued, or just a recent thing?
I I've like written a little bit when I was a child. I've written like tiny, dumb little stories as a kid, but I didn't really pursue it throughout high school. I've done it. I've only started doing it like 5 years ago when I came up with this book idea.
Okay.
So I I was just one day driving and I just had this cool story idea. Well, because I have this big imagination, it just kept replaying inside my head. I'm like, I'm tired of thinking of these imaginations. I should put it on paper, maybe share it to
Yeah.
share it to readers. Maybe that could be a cool thing. So I decided to start writing. And I never really thought I could write 50,000 words like that.
That's awesome, man. So now, whenever you started like really pursuing it and getting into it, did you like do any kind of research or preparations for this? Did you like seek out some writer groups for assistance or anything? How did you prepare to do this?
Oh, it did take a while too. I remember writing my first chapter. It was like in two paragraphs. It was terrible when I first started. And then I mostly just looked up a bunch of YouTube videos from like authors. Like Brandon Sanderson has like a free online class you could just go watch on YouTube. And
Yeah.
I just been listening to that stuff, his advices, and then I've taken some writing classes in school that have those also have helped me out too. But yeah, it's usually just YouTube really that's helped me prepare to write this book.
Oh man, I how much I wish YouTube was around back when I was first beginning to write. I was doing correspondence courses that you couldn't even email it because an email or having the pages written, we'd have to print them off. You could do it
Yeah.
on your computer, but you couldn't. It was too big a file to email back in those days. So you would
Wow.
I would print it off to my teacher, then she would send it back with her notes and everything, and then we would communicate back and forth through email for quicker responses and whatever. But yeah, back in the day, during dial up and all that, it was like, yeah, that's like, oh, you sent a book through email? That's crazy. Would that take like 3 days to download? Yeah, it was nuts back
Yeah, I
then.
bet.
But it's so cool to have, yeah, like you said, YouTube is available to you now. You can learn anything. I mean, gosh,
Mhm.
I've made car repairs, house repairs, all kinds of stuff now because of YouTube.
Yeah, definitely me too.
That's awesome. Well, so now you have this lifelong fascination of fantasy, and of course, martial arts heroes, Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee. I'm right there with you on that, man.
Mm.
I grew up with Bruce Lee movies. I remember when he died, and then Jackie Chan. I mean, I'm one of the guys that remembers him from the days of uh, oh man, what was that Burt Reynolds movie that he had a bit part in? Cannonball Run,
Oh,
and
Cannonball Run. Yep, I know that
yeah,
movie. Yep.
and then he had one of my favorite movies of his before he really took off was The Big Brawl.
The Big Brawl. Yeah, I like that
Yeah.
one
Oh
That's
man, my brother and I, we would just, yeah, we would train like Jackie Chan when we were kids. It
oh
was
yeah.
huge, and then then he like disappeared for like 10 years, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's huge all over America. Turned
Yep.
out, of course, he was still huge overseas, but yeah, now everybody loves him. And it's just like, man. So tell me, what was your background here with these guys and fantasy, bringing it all into this book?
Yeah. So back when I lived in Missouri, me and my family, we had no internet, but like my cousin like gave us this whole Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, Jet Li movie collection. They just handed it over to us. And as a kid, those are the only movies I could watch because we had no internet. There's like we had no TV or satellite, so we couldn't watch anything on TV. All I had was these Jackie Chan movies that I just kept rewatching almost every day. Watching from the old movies like Snake and Eagle Shadow to Rush Hour 3 and like a bunch of Jelly's old movies, Tai Chi Master to like Fearless. Like I watched like all of them and like just watching how their martial arts go and how cinematic their fights are. And it was a it was an amazing childhood just watching all that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Gosh. Yeah, I still remember the first time I saw Enter the Dragon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was probably six when that came out, 6 or 7, something like that. And I just heard about him passing away, and yeah, oh man. And then after about a year or so later, like it got TV rights, and so it would come on Saturday mornings a lot. Like after Saturday morning cartoons, it would be like one of the movies that they would just play.
Mm.
And oh man, yeah, it was like my mom hated it. She was just like, "No, y'all don't need to be watching that." So we'd be once we got a VCR, we're like recording it and checking it out. It's just like, oh my gosh. But
Yeah.
yeah, the moves and it was just you can't not be inspired as just somebody with so full of imagination and just the action. It gets inside you.
Yeah, it does. It really influenced me. Like I will like rewind some of the fight scenes and then practice it myself. That's how I implement some of those into my book.
That's awesome. So when it came for One Star Hero, you were saying it just kind of came to you one day, and then you started writing notes, and then you decided to write it. So what came first for you? Was it the plot? Was it the character? A little bit of both?
Well, the my story was at first was inspired by an anime, and
Hmm.
then it sort of just like took like little inspirations from like different series and video games and movies, just put on together to one big old book. So I like to say like I'm standing on the shoulder of giants when I wrote this book, sort of.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What first came up was it wasn't a plot. It was actually a fight scene that came up first that I
Oh,
wanted to
nice.
write about. And I was like, the anime that inspired it really got me wanted to write it because in the anime, the main character was like being clowned on because he's like this a weaker guy or something, and everyone just like hated him and they like shunned him out. So that he vowed to become stronger. So then I was like, oh, I really like that kind of concept. I should make my character something similar like that. Not
Uh-huh.
like end up how that main character where he kind of became like an edgy kind of character. I want my character to be more optimistic and goes through like a ton of stuff that really hurts him, but like still tries to be his best. So that really inspired me to write this book. It was at first a fight scene, and then it sort of just developed and evolved into this big, wide world inside my head, and I just had to put it on paper.
That's awesome. That's cool. And the hero that is it Eden or Eden?
Oh, Eden, yeah.
Eden Alistar. Okay.
Yep.
That's cool, man. Yeah, in the kingdom of Basin Troll.
Yep. Mason Draw.
All right, that's awesome. So yeah, so give us the the like the elevator pitch. What is One Star Hero about?
So One Star Hero is about a kid with big dreams, but a lot of things don't go his way achieving that dream. So he wants to be a legion. As he gets his weapon called an armament, and he gets the lowest, the weakest kind of level to that weapon, which is a 1 star. The highest is a 5 star. And since he got the 1 star, everyone like clowns on him. They all laugh at him, saying he's weak and that 1 star legions are not necessary to fight like monsters called menaces. So that kind of hurts him. So that you start seeing his emotions, how it affects him mentally, but then he vows to become the true hero, which is a legendary character in the book. So then he starts training on his own since 1 stars are looked down upon. Nobody trains 1 stars. So then he trains on his own, steals a couple of moves from watching people fighting, and then just starts developing his own fighting style. Then tries his best to become what he wanted to be, which is the true hero. But in this story, there'll be like a lot of trials and tribulations for him that he needs to go through, and we're gonna see how he like plows through all of them, or see if he falters.
Wow. All right, that's cool. So, and then like the title suggests, and so One Star Hero is uh, Eden, and it's that somebody that's the unexpected hero that
Yeah,
nobody expects him to rise up. That's awesome, man. So that is really cool. Then,
yes.
what what did you have like something? What was your favorite part of the book? Something that as you were writing, and you're like, oh, I love this.
um, it was definitely one point in the story where he was being like bullied by this one character. So like one later chapters, he like after he developed his fighting style, he came back to fight the bully to like give him payback for what happened
Mm.
because apparently the bully kind of like did some things and had make Eden owe him some money, so he went to go pay back that money, but it was his but in a fight. So then during that fight, Eden against his bully, Eden starts doing what they did in the previous fight. He starts slapping him with his sword, and then later on, the bully starts using magic. Start swings his sword like this big old uh, bird of flames starts flying towards him, towards Eden, and Eden start just batches away with his shield. Then Eden lunges forward and then just punches the bully in the face. I just love that moment a lot in the story.
That's cool. No, nothing better than having those moments when you're writing a book where it just speaks to you on another level, and it's like it may not even matter to most readers, but like it's a special moment to the author. It's just like it is coming together. I love this part, and it's always like the favorite scene ever that all of us authors like to talk about. It's like,
Yeah,
oh man, this one part.
definitely.
Yeah. And and I can get that. I hear that. Like you're talking about that scene. It's like I see that too in lots of the action movies where the hero who didn't know anything is now using those same moves against the protagonist or the antagonist. Once they learn some things, they come back and like, oh, yep, I'm going to slap you with it like you were doing to me, and
Yeah,
all this kind of stuff. Yeah, that's awesome. That's
yeah.
perfect.
Writing it just felt so good. It was like, oh wow, I love this scene right here.
Yeah, that was awesome. So what's next for you? Like after now that this is out and available, what do you plan to do next?
I'm actually planning to write write this as a series. I'm hoping to write book two of it, like create a whole series of it. Because
Nice.
yeah, I had like this whole big old like imagination plan for it already. But so far, I only got the first book out, so still just starting.
That's cool. And it's got some pictures throughout the book. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. It's written by my illustrator, Mustafa Ijaz. Shout out to my artist. He did really well with drawing the characters and the monster in it too. Like even like the action scenes look cool too in this book.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. I seen some of the pictures online, some of the illustrations that he had done, and that is really cool. There, found the Honeyfeed site there with the pictures and the action scenes and everything. That is some really cool stuff on there,
Oh yeah, definitely.
man. So what? Let me ask you here. I got a fun little. We're coming towards the end of it here, so a fun little question for you. Then, would you rather? And this is
Mm.
the author edition of it. So, would you rather meet your favorite fictional character or your favorite author?
Oh wow, that is interesting. Huh. I would say maybe the fictional character. If I want to be a fictional character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who is that? Why? Why? Who is it and why?
Um. So like the fictional character could be like anyway, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Fictional character. Mostly it's Deku from My Hero Academia.
Okay.
Mostly because I really relate to the character so much. I love how like optimistic that character is. Like he is like he's very similar to my character, how I wanted to write. Just a kid that dreams to be a hero. Um, just watching him like learn and becoming what he wanted to be really inspires me to be like a writer as well.
Hmm.
Because like I didn't know I could do this too. Like I didn't know I could write. And watching my favorite fictional character like grow and develop, into becoming the hero he's always wanted to be really inspires me. And I think meeting the guy would be kind of cool.
Yeah, it does sound cool. That would be nice, and that sounds. I mean, it sounds perfect, like right along with your own hero there. So I mean, that's totally makes sense, and I would agree. I think I'd probably have to go along with a fictional character, although I'd have to give that some thought to figure out who that might be. But that's awesome. Well, where is there any place that people listening could find and follow you? I know I'm going to have links in the show notes for your Amazon page and the Barnes and Noble page for the book. Where else if could people follow you?
Yeah, I do have a Twitter and an Instagram. You can just find me with just put my name in Yimje Lee, and you'll find me there.
That's perfect, great, and I'll put links in the show notes for that as well. Hey, Yimji, this has been awesome. I really appreciate your time and congratulations on that first book. That is a huge, huge step into a big world, and I'm really happy that you got this one done and on to the next one, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks, Jason. Thanks, man.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the end. Make sure you stick around, or that you're hitting that subscribe button so that next week you don't miss out when Yimji comes back. You're going to hear that sample chapter from One Star Hero. Until then, take care.